Welcome to Inspired by Her, the podcast that will give you the inspiration, motivation, and tips for success from some of the top executives, CEOs, and influencers from around the globe. With your host, serial entrepreneur, and named one of the most influential Filipina in the world, Kate Hancock.
And we are live. Hi, everyone. This is Kate Hancock.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hey, so what are we going to talk today?
Hey, you're the one that called the town meeting. We're here. What do you want to talk about? Let's go.
You literally got me out of bed for this. You tell me what this is about.
All right. So, hi, everyone. We're going to talk about how we did the 20 days straight in Clubhouse, how we did it.
24/7.
24/7. No break. Yes. Can you tell us a story? Okay, so we have some eyeballs now. Hey, Tong, you remember that day, Jodine?
Oh, yeah. Tom, you want to go ahead? Let's each take a turn of their version of their starting point of it.
Are we recording this, or what are we doing with this?
We're live right now.
It is recording.
Oh, where are we live to?
We're live everywhere.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is William. I was very grateful to, in my first couple of experiences in Clubhouse, be able to really meet Kate and Dan and just get to hang out with them. And at the time, I think we were all basically trying to figure out Clubhouse and go to different rooms and learn about different things. I remember that we went to a couple of like 24-hour automated webinar rooms and these different types of marketing funnels. And just in getting to know each other, I think that we all had a very similar mission, which is trying to help out other people with their businesses. And at the time, I went to start doing some PPP and SBA rooms to help people out. Kate and Dan started doing the business building rooms, and organically, we had a lot of people start to join our mission, join our tribe. Kate and Dan are amazing community builders, the likes of which I've never seen. Clubhouse has clearly never seen. Otherwise, we would see similar things. So just the unprecedented ability of Kate and Dan to bring people together, and we were able to bring on Jodine and Jason, and just there's literally a name of like 50, 100 people that came on and helped out, each person doing their own part. There wasn't one person that allowed us to get Grant Cardone or Ty Lopez or Damon John or Les Brown. It was really every single person contributing. The butterfly effect is probably more powerful and visible in Clubhouse than in any other platform I've ever seen.
Yes, absolutely. So, Dan, we started on December 25, Christmas Day, before 10 a.m. It was Christmas Day. We're greeting each other. And so like, hey, no one's here. Why don't we just start our own room? So it's just only you and I. And then Tong showed up. I think it was Arjun was the third one. And Tong showed up. It's only four of us talking the very first day. And then I told Dan, like, hey, why don't we just start a room, since a lot of people don't have family? It was the busiest day ever.
It was crazy. And then I got a message from Jodine saying, get in this room. And I'm like, what? Okay. Which room? We're doing what? And then here we are, nearly a month later.
Hey, Jodine, you're mute. You're mute.
Once again, I have a perfect conversation with myself. True to form, right? No, when I came on, onto Clubhouse, I just came on with the intentions of trying to figure out what this app was about. And I opened my first room on how to do a virtual live summit. And Kate jumped in and said, I need you. I want to do a live 24/7. And I'm like, that sounds like fun. And then she's like, hey, come on. And then she pinged me into her room and she's like, we're going to go 24/7. And I'm like, okay, it's Christmas Day. My teenagers are kind of gnarly. That sounds good to me. And so all of a sudden she's like, hey, the record's 12 days. We got to go 13. And I'm like, holy shit, who is this chick? She told me 24 hours and now she wants me to go 12 days. And I'm like, well, it is between Christmas and New Year's and we are in COVID and I really don't have any place to go. So I'm like, let's go for it. So that was my remembrance of the whole thing. And then all of a sudden we get to 12 days and she's like, well, let's just keep going. And I'm like, oh my God, like, are we ever going to quit this thing?
Well, it was such a fun journey, you guys, right? Like, oh my God, I remember like at nighttime, I only rely on Tong because he's the person that won't sleep, right? Like, Tom, can you cover the night shift? And then all of a sudden we got some people from Germany, from UK to cover it. But like in the beginning was I rely on Tong, and Tong's like, I'm not gonna give this room to someone else and he's literally protecting a real estate.
And I was just going to say, I think that that's the most amazing thing now that I'm going out into other rooms. Everybody has said and made reference that we set the standard and the bar so high. And I think when you hear that, I mean, like we were doing it and we knew it, but when people speak that into you, it just really edifies the team effort that we all had. And we protected it. And, the other night I was in that room and I was like, Dan, I'm really tired. I got to do this thing. Will you just take over? And all of a sudden, like somebody started, they muted somebody. And oh my gosh, Mama Bear came out. I was like, we're not going to have that. I came off a mute and I was like, we worked hard to allow everybody to have a voice and to allow everybody to be edified. And like whoever muted them, I was like, we got new people on the platform. And if you think we're going to allow this, I said, you can exit now. Otherwise, don't even think about it. And they were just kind of like, oh, Lord. And like Grant Cardone said, who was that? That was Mama Bear.
Well, remember the very first day? And then the following day, I couldn't get in the room. And I was like, Tom, where the heck is the room? Someone hijacked our room. And then he keeps saying, like, it's here. There's so many people. Like, I was so pissed because we work 24 hours. I can't even get in the room. Like, Tom, where's the room? And I keep on sending a screenshot. I couldn't find the room, knowing that someone blocked us. We can't even get into our own house.
So I'm texting Kate and I'm like, why are we not allowed to go into the room? What did we do? And she's like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm like, well, let me in. And I was doing the same thing. It kept saying that the room it was no longer there. But yet everybody was like, we're here. And Kate and Dan and I are like, what did we do?
I know the funny thing is, like William had said, when we first got on, it was only, maybe a month ago. And there was really not a big community around like entrepreneurs and business. It was hard to find. And it was crazy because there was like, if you looked at most rooms, they had like 100 people, maybe 200 people in them. Now you see rooms consistently having 1,000 plus people. It's 4,000 people. It's really wild that just in a few weeks time, so much has changed and so many people have really created that community.
Hey, we have a comment here with Christina. Unfortunately, they won't allow her to create an account because of her last name. Do you guys see that?
No,
yeah, dude, that's true. That would be terrible if it's true.
I know. Nen, do you see that?
Yeah, I know. I see that. Yeah, Christina. Reach out to me. Let's find out what we could do. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I'm sure there's somebody. Maybe somebody can message somebody.
All right, so we have a lot of LinkedIn followers here as well, and we have about 200,000 followers from the travel group. How do you get into Clubhouse? Let's talk about, guys. And how do you build followers?
Right before we get into that, I think like there are always these little moments that really like accelerate our growth, and these little key moments. I think one of the biggest moments was when Jason came on, because without Jason, without some of the other late night crew, it would have been impossible to keep it going through the night. So although I was on early, I burnt out. I got exhausted physically. Like it's just impossible for one person to carry on. So once Jason, once Gen, once Dana, when some of the other people came on through the late night crew, and Daniel and Jodine carrying it through the night, Kate, you popping in and just not getting sleep. So there's too many names to mention. Just I don't know how to name them all. There's
we had Athena as well. A number of mornings I was on. I couldn't believe it. I was getting up at 7 or 8 in the morning, and Athena's still on. It's like, and she stayed on. There was one time that she literally didn't sleep. So it was 3 in the morning, I think, her time, and she was modding, emceeing with me, and then she just like, I'm just not going to go to sleep. So she just stayed on all day. It's insane. Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep, Jason, because it's like I could hear in the background, like, I want to make sure that we're not going to lack out like the first day, right? So I couldn't sleep the last 13 days of straight because I'm panicky. Are the rooms still open? I don't want to break it. It's continuous. Like, I had that panic. And I was like, I think after a while I get tired, but like, the crazy thing is like early in the morning is busy as a Clubhouse. Why is that? Like 4 a.m.
Starting around 4 or 5 a.m. I never did understand that, unless, I mean, that's all the people, the corporate people were up early. I know I text somebody I didn't text him. I pinged him to come up onto the audience, and he sends me a private message. He goes, I would love to come on stage, but it's 3:30 or 3 o'clock a.m. And if I start talking, my wife's going to smack me in the face, and I'm just trying to cure my addiction to Clubhouse. And I was just like, oh my God, this is real.
Do we want to tell the folks what, I mean, I wonder if there are any folks online who watching us who don't even know what we're talking about, like what is Clubhouse?
I know.
Somebody's going to.
We have some questions. So what is Clubhouse? Not everyone can get into Clubhouse. So Clubhouse is a voice app. It's kind of like radio/podcast, and everyone can just talk. And that's cool about it is you can't really record, right? So whatever people are talking about, you gotta, because we have this Q&A format, you don't want to miss anything that people were asking questions, because people are so smart. And so basically we're getting a free mastermind. I would say over $1 million worth of knowledge. Don't you guys agree about that?
100%. 100%.
Way over that. I mean, what I earned, or what I gained in that 20 days of doing that MC, that's over $1 million. I mean, just you think of oh my God.
I have notes everywhere.
So somebody told me today about an app called, is it Good Notes? Good Notes 2, and where you actually, it's on an iPad, you write it and it's searchable. So everything that we could have been writing down, if I would have had that app, oh my God, I'm like, why the hell didn't I have that 25 days ago?
I use something similar called Notability, which is something similar. It's very good. Yeah.
All right, Dan, let's do a little bit of recap what we're talking about, what we're doing, and our room title, because some people.
Let's reset the room.
Let's reset the room. PTR. Can you PTR the room?
What the hell?
Yeah, what is that? What does that mean?
Okay, what does it mean, Jason? He'll correct me if I say it wrong.
It's pull to refresh.
I said pull to reset.
Yeah, there's some of the lingo that we're doing at in the Clubhouse, and now there's a term for the moderator called the green beans. I don't know who created that name.
That's stupid. I'm not even buying in that. Somebody put me in a messenger with the green bean thing in there. I'm like, get me out of here.
Who's getting the first moderator tattoo?
He who says it gets it.
We'll have to talk to
William.
Jeff
You get one, I'll get one.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, and me.
Question for everyone: how can you get into Clubhouse? What's your answer, you guys?
So
you have to have, go ahead.
After you, Jody.
I would say you have to have a good friend. No, because it took me forever to get more invites. Seriously, because I got my first one and I gave that to somebody that I, was like the oil and gas, because Chad, his buddy, was like, or his partner, he's like, look, I need an invite. And I was like, look, use mine, because like, I don't want to give it to one of my friends for them to all yell at me. Like, why didn't you give it to me? So I'm like, I gave mine to a complete stranger just to, to mess with it all. But then I got my 3 and I sent them out. And like, to this point, nobody has accepted them. So I obviously chose the wrong people to get onto Clubhouse because they didn't take my invite. So I haven't gotten any more invites. So, but it's an exclusive. It's definitely exclusive. You have to know somebody to let you in, which is kind of cool. And Skylar, my 8-year-old daughter today, she goes, well, I don't know why they call it the Clubhouse. She goes, it should just be the club, because if it's that hard to get into. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right there.
Yeah. Dong, when did you get in? You're like there ahead of me. What day were you in?
I got in December 11th, 2020. So like a month ago.
Okay, so I got in this December 12th.
How do you know what day you went in? Does it say?
So, yeah, it shows in there in your app. So this is the story. It was Perry, who's a friend of my Facebook. He said he's in a Clubhouse. I was like, what the heck is Clubhouse? Then I started digging in, like, hey, can you get me Clubhouse? And no one would respond, right? And finally, I created my user account. Someone got me in the next day. So I got lucky. Can you imagine if no one did that to me? We would not be here talking about break the world record.
That was fun. But
Oh, I'm sorry, Jason, go ahead.
I was going to say, what I've done is a really good way of getting a bunch of your friends in is doing them, and it's a bit kind of manual, but it is by doing an invitation chain.
Yeah, I've seen
because
those.
everyone gets one invitation. So you've got everybody's messaging you or putting on my Facebook profile, hey, Jason, can I get an invitation? I said, look, I'm going to do an invitation chain. So yeah, I can get you in, but here's the deal, right? When you get in, you've got to give your invitation to the next person in our chain in my Facebook group, right? And so say, fine. Because look, a week later, you're going to get 3 invitations. You can do anything you like with. But the first one, you've got to give it to the next person. And that worked really, really well. I got all my clients in to Clubhouse that way.
All right, we're going to do something big, Jason, based on that. So right now we have one group with around 200,000 people in it in Facebook. I am willing to do that with every single person in this Facebook group. So DM me and let's do that. That'd be amazing. We'll get a huge, let's get 100,000 people on one string.
You just have to tell them they can't do something bad or you're going to get banned for Clubhouse stuff. You got to be careful.
Okay, forget that. I take it back.
You were
just kidding. I don't know these people very well. Just kidding. I take it back.
You also need to you need to kind of like do a post which explains exactly the rules and like here's what it is. You've got to have an iPhone, an iPad, because otherwise you get a whole bunch of people with Android saying, oh, I didn't realize it wasn't available on iPhone yet. And then the chain breaks. And then they get invited by somebody else. The chain breaks. So you've got to sort of say, if you get invited by someone else, no problem, but take yourself off the list, right? So that and also you need to be comfortable. You have to give your cell phone number to the person above you in the list.
Yeah. So
I take it back.
Okay. So question for everyone: is Clubhouse? What about for people that doesn't like a talk like me? Is Clubhouse a good fit? I don't really like to talk.
Really? I've heard you talk.
It's definitely a good fit because you can go and listen. So it's probably one of the most powerful educational tools out there. So even if you never want to say a word, you don't have to. You can just go into rooms with interesting people and just listen. And there's no harm in that. I mean, most of the people are listening in rooms anyways. You'll find plenty of people that want to talk in Clubhouse. And in terms of the invite system, there's actually a workaround that can onboard people exponentially faster than the direct invite system. And that's just by having, for example, let's say there's 10 people. If all 10 people have all 10 people added to each other's phones, then in the Clubhouse algorithm, these 10 people will be very connected. So the second one person gets in and a second person gets in, now, because the other 8 people are in the phones of the 2 people, the other 8 people are more likely to have a little notification pop up in the phones of the 2 people who are already members. Yeah. And this doesn't use up direct invites. It says explicitly, do you want to accept this person into Clubhouse without using an invite? So as it kind of moves forward, as more people come to Clubhouse, more and more people are going to get notifications to accept the remaining people into Clubhouse. So this is actually exponentially faster, especially if you have 100,000 people. Instead of going one by one, it's just way, way faster. On top of that, it reduces the liability of accepting someone in that might get your account suspended. Because if you don't know the person, you don't have to accept them in. And on top of that, you can save your own invite. And then you can use the invite to, like Jason says, direct invite more people in, or you can invite your own family and friends. I actually made an announcement about it. It's inside my Facebook group, Clubhouse Club Community. Feel free to join it. Also promote your own events. Much faster.
Yes. Yeah. So I remember in December 12, when Dan and I were there, we were going to the rappers room. That's what like there's no business room. It's all rapper and really cool title. I won't mention it because it's kind of hilarious, right? Like, and I tried to get into Spec's room. I was like, oh my God, there's so many people out there. But I felt really out of place. Like, this is not a conversation when I get in. And I tried to get in the women thing. I still didn't fit in. So that's how the reason why I started the room, what it takes to run $1 million business. And I think I did it for 5 days and there's only 4 or 5 people and then it disappeared. And then it wasn't really successful. And then all of a sudden marketers showed up. It was a wave of marketers. That's when like everything went crazy, right?
Well, when we were in there, we were like, okay, we need edified speakers. And I was like, wait a minute, I know. And we were talking about people at night, I was like, wait a minute, I know Jason. So I sent out a Mayday to him. I'm like, get in this room. So, but when I joined on December 20th, and the way that I got in, Russell Brunson had set out, this is Clubhouse, everybody should get in. So I took his invite, and then they're like, well, it can take up to a week, to be, get in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just sit here. And I mean, like within 10 minutes, I get an invite that says Kevin Anson, who is his video photographer, Russell, accepted me in and expedited me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then pretty soon I'm looking at the app. I'm like, well, now what do I do? And Russell Brunson was the first person to follow me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this thing that I'm getting into? So, and I knew in that moment that we had all the marketers on board for Clubhouse. So I think that was a big changing point for Clubhouse, where it started to grow exponentially, definitely.
All right, so we have a comment here from Shandell. He said, talks about the app kind of feels like a high school lunchroom where everyone's talking, trying to find a place or like that. But then, Shandell, you have to join our club. The title is What It Takes to Run $1 Million Business. If you're into business, we really created the safe space for you to can ask Q&A. It's a high level conversation. You can enjoy it. And so we'd love to welcome you. My name is Kate, the Pivot Queen. I have Danielle Jodine, William Tong, Funnel Jedi. We basically started the community of the entrepreneurship Clubhouse room. So we did it and we did the 20 days nonstop, 24 hours, not like a cutoff room. So we did it in the beginning. So come and join us. I'll guarantee your experience will be different. I know how you feel. Exactly. That's exactly my experience is. That's the reason why I created the room, so everyone will have a better experience in Clubhouse.
Yeah, I know. It's been amazing that so many people then started other rooms. And I just love that, because the whole goal is to, like we said from the beginning, to help inspire 100 million people in the world. Well, you can't do that unless you're, a lot of people are duplicating the process and making the process better. We go into other rooms and we learn what they're doing. It's really amazing how, like you're saying, exponentially it just exploded into all these more rooms and more people. And you're seeing a lot of people come in and like-minded individuals. We're seeing a lot of these people that we know coming in, and it's absolutely amazing. And we're getting, messages upon messages about how rooms are helping people in their life. And we have people crying. I know we've heard of people come up and they say their story and they cry, or they tell you things that they've never told anyone else in their life. I can't believe that. It must be the audio and non-visual aspect that they feel comfortable enough to tell you their like deepest, darkest secrets in life, or reasons why they can't do something. And I don't think they've probably told anyone but maybe a therapist. So it's truly amazing, and just the ability for others to experience, share, and provide any feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. How you guys experience, Jason? I'd like to hear your experience.
Well, the interesting, I think the experience is it's extremely addictive because and amazing because you're, especially when you're in a room with some really big influencers and really smart people, and that there's no recording, so there's no way of, like, if you're either there listening to it or you're not, you miss it, right? And that's number one. And number two, the fact that you're even in the room with certain people where it would normally be impossible, right? I mean, it's just crazy that we were all in the room at the very moment that this guy brings in this film producer and does this deal between Grant Cardone and this film producer. And then, like, yesterday or the day before, we're seeing the shots of him on set recording this video with Robert De Niro, and that's like nuts, right? I mean,
all right, so let's do a recap about that. So Dan, can you explain about what exactly happened? It was the busiest day ever. Everyone is in a room. I think probably 2,000 people in there. And it was so busy and everyone was trying to grab the mic. I mean, it's hard to control. Jodine, how do you control a room when everyone's trying to grab the mic because Grant Cardone is in the house?
First, you unmute yourself on Clubhouse and on Streamline. I think the big thing is just holding space and, taking control of it, because there's a lot of strong high D personalities where they all want to speak. And, you just got to step up and say, hey, I'm going to reset the room. And the big thing for us was no self-promote. And I think that was a huge part of it, because when people want to self-promote, it just takes away the edification of, what the purpose of the room was. So, that to me was a better place to definitely, put my effort and energy into. And then when everybody's trying to speak over, you just got to say, hey, wait, let's go to the next question. Or, you just got to take back control of it. Today I had a room open, and all of a sudden we were talking about Think and Grow Rich. And all of a sudden a guy came up and he goes, can I speak into that? And I was like, sure, go ahead. And so he's kind of talking about the book a little bit, but then he kind of goes down that line of, residual income and all that. And I was like, I looked on his profile right away and I'm like, okay, here is a troll. I can hear it coming. And he's about to do his little speech. And I'm like, hey, can I ask you, how many times have you read this book? Oh, well, like, I haven't, I don't own the book, but I've listened to it. And I was like, great. I'm like, you know what? Here's the deal. I said, grab the book. If you want to come into our mastermind, you're more than welcome to. But right now we're going to shut down this room because this is the last question. And I was just like, end room. But it was just like, redirecting it back to them and understanding that, we're not going to do that self-promote here. So there's just a lot of tricks and trades that you can, redirect the synergy and get it back on track. But it's, it's not an easy task. And you really do need somebody in there to be able to go in and with strong personalities and, take control of it, because otherwise it gets so, I've been in rooms where I literally was so annoyed because the title of the room was not in alignment of what they were all speaking into. And it really, not having, it wasn't my room. I couldn't control it. But my blood pressure started going up and I was like, okay, need to exit. So quietly leave is what I did, because my blood pressure was going up, because it was just a total rant of not even close to the alignment of what the room was. So, but
absolutely. Yeah. So your experience is definitely not the same. Rooms varies, right? Jason or Tong, like, sometimes you get into a room and if the room's unstructured, I can't keep up. So I have to leave because everyone's talking each other or everyone's trying to promote. Oh, we need everyone to talk within someone's grabbing the mic for 10 minutes. Let's talk about Clubhouse etiquette. How long do you have to introduce yourself or answer a question?
How long what?
Well, let's talk about Clubhouse etiquette. I think what we did in a room that works for us is probably the better word of that is we do 30 minutes intro, right? 30 seconds, not 30 minutes, 30-second intro. And then you answering the question, what is it? 60 seconds?
We tried that. Go ahead.
I would say it would never end up being 60 seconds, but you always ask for it to be 60 seconds so that it kind of forces people to be to be brief. And telling people, like, start your question with the words, my question is, and not give the backstory. And what I found that worked really, really well is when you do the room reset, I explained, like, don't give your backstory. Just say, my question is, it's okay to say what type of business you're in. I'm in the, health and wellness business, and I'm looking to get more clients, right? Because pretty well in our kind of room, doesn't matter which business people are in, their backstory is always pretty well the same. Or like it comes within like 5 or 6 different variations, but it's going to be in one of those. So we've basically heard it all before. I was doing this job for 12 years, and then I decided I found there was this amazing opportunity to do this thing in beauty wellness, and so my business, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, but what's your question, right? So virtually everybody's story would fall into these kind of 5, 6, 7 different variations of a scenario, not with any great difference, in my opinion, at least, right? And when it comes down to it, in terms of business problems, like they're there to figure out a business problem. So they either don't know how to get leads, don't know how to convert, don't know how to get more transactions from existing customers. They don't know how to increase their prices, or don't know how to get their profitability.
Hey guys, I need to step off. So if I just need to go do something real quick, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
So go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. So that's why we kind of tell people you don't need to give us too much of the backstory, because we can pretty well guess most of it, and anything we really need, we'll ask you. Right. So just say the question. Don't panic. We'll definitely get more information from you in a moment. So that's quite important. And so, yeah, when I do the room reset and I see the next person's name is Sarah, whatever, and I would say, right, and now Sarah's going to demonstrate the perfect way to ask a question, right? And it would go, oh, yeah. And then they would like say, all right, yeah, I've got to really stick to the script now. So that worked quite well.
Yeah. Dong, how was your experience? You're going from room to business, and then you go to real estate, and then all of a sudden you're like the right wing man of Grant Cardone and Danny Damon John. Tell me about that. How did you get into that? That's crazy though, but I love that. I'd love to hear your story.
I just tried my best to add value, all the things I learned from you, Kate and Dan, in terms of just how to make rooms grow and have people interested in the rooms. I just did my best to place really good people in the rooms as moderator. It may be a little bit loud. Sorry about that. Let me change that real quick.
Yeah, the funny thing is, we can actually state everybody's intro. Like I could probably say Jason's 30-second intro or William's 30-second intro. It's funny when people pop up, I'm like, I could probably say their 30-second intro. We know it so well. Next time we should do like, hey, we're going to all say each other's 30-second intro. But go ahead, William.
Yeah. My name is William. I'm in Los Angeles, California. I'm a real estate broker. But yeah, to answer your question, Kate, no, I just always try to go in different spaces and I just add value however I can. Some people have said, oh, William, are you trying this or that? I really never had an agenda with anything that I was trying. I didn't have a mission or a super focused purpose, which probably I should have, maybe, I don't know. But I just try and go into spaces and meet people. I like cool people. I like nice people. I like friendly people. And for me, it's just about trying to build as solid a financial foundation for myself as possible. And education is a huge part of that. So just by going into these rooms and trying to help people figure out the platform, I think people just really feel where I'm coming from. As we've talked about before, I just trying to be as authentic as possible. I've never cared about clout or followers. When I started on Clubhouse, I had 3 followers on Twitter. I had 375 on Instagram. And like Twitter, I have my name. There's a congressman that tried to get my name from me at William Tong. Like that's how early I was on Twitter. I was on Facebook when it was the Facebook. So I've never really cared about like clout or notoriety. And the only reason people started noticing me was because I would be next to, Grant Cardone on the stage with a little moderator badge. And it wasn't anything else more than that. I never, like those of you that know me, that have been in my rooms or seen me on stage, I never say my name. I don't say, oh, this is William, and then give the advice. I literally just give the advice. And then some people say, oh, who was that? And then I'm like, oh, it's William. So I just always come from a place of contribution, just helping people
Absolutely.
out. And I think that I've been able to attract people and be attracted to people of a very similar mission and mindset. And I think that has been able to carry me pretty far. And I even to this day, I don't have a plan for monetization. Different people have given me different suggestions. I still don't really know. And I don't know if I ever will have a plan for monetization. Ultimately, for me, it's still back to the real estate business. So for everyone that's interested in getting to Clubhouse and has had success in other spaces, I highly encourage you to.
We lost you, William.
And as we,
I think his signal is
William there.
Yeah,
we need to unmute
before. I highly encourage you to be just as authentic as possible.
You were cutting. There you go. You better. Signal is better.
Nick said, I love this. Nick here, Romer. He said, add value wherever you go. # give more than you take. But he can't get in because he has Android. So Nick, go and get an Apple device.
Yeah, it is really worth it. I mean, in my experience, I had a great experience at Clubhouse. I think, like I said in the room, our why is to inspire 100 million entrepreneurs in the world, and then we did it so much faster in a short amount of days. And so, with that being aligned with my value, with my purpose in life, I don't mind working 13 hours a day, just giving back, and because it's such a fulfilling experience for me.
Yeah, I can't. So why would one create a room? So I know people have been asking about like, how do they create a room or why do they create a room? So besides going in other people's rooms and you can add value, like William said, you can work your way up to being a moderator after you've added value and you've been among people that will want to make you a moderator. But how do you create a room, and why do you create a room in Clubhouse?
Who could answer that?
Well, you created the 20 day 24/7 room, but we're
all waiting for you.
Yes. So why? I mean, you know, I created what it takes to run a $1 million business. And I was very strategic about the title. I make sure I have a $7, like that gold that everyone tried to copy after us. And I think it's now banned in Clubhouse because we've run it so much, right? So I was very strategic about the title, make sure it's catchy, it's bold, it's out there. And so even people were commenting about it. You see that $sign and everyone get into your room, but now nothing special about it because everyone used the $sign, right? So it's so important. I was clear that all the moderator has to have a minimum of $1 million business. That way they can really share the experience, what it is to run $1 million business. So I know we probably upset a few people because we were very strict about it, but I was very clear with our standard. And you know, for you to give an advice, we have to make sure you've done it. You are really running $1 million business. Jodine, do you have something to add on that? You're muted.
There you go, Jodine.
I think the big thing is, you know, you're talking about what it takes to create, you know, a room. The title definitely needs to be in line with what you're saying. And, you know, when you start a room, I think the big thing is, you know, making sure that you have control of the synergy, the flow is good. And so you want everybody to have a good experience. So, you know, you've got to find, and the other thing too is make sure you have somebody that's with you. You don't want to take a room on by yourself. Because one, if you're trying to, you know, have a topic, you can't self-promote yourself. It looks cheesy. So when you have another person in there, they can edify you and they can help you, because there's a lot of moving parts. It's not just, you know, we've got the PTR that is very important because especially when you're moving people up and down. So, I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts, and having a room that's safe. I think that's why, you know, like Dan, you were saying, we had people crying in our room. You know, part of that is because of the fact that they felt safe, you know, like they knew they could come up and have a voice, and we encouraged them, hey, you know, whatever your question is, you know, and if you're thinking it, there's probably somebody else in the audience that's thinking it too. So, you know, we just gave that real, as a team effort, we protected that. And I think we just set that bar and held that standard for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, and going to the question of like, why create a room in the first place, which I think is what, you know, you're asking, Dan, or somebody else was asking, is that, I mean, you're creating a room because, I mean, we're all craving human interaction right now because we've missed it so much. We're certainly here in the UK. And, you know, you when you're creating a room, you're the one who decides what the conversation's about, essentially. But you do it because you want to learn something, you want to share things, you just want to, I mean, our room obviously was very, very specific. We're just answering questions all day long, all night long about how to, you know, run $1 million business. But there are lots of rooms where it's just really casual chatting about life, the universe, and everything. Like, so I think it's that kind of the little microcosms of the world, covering every subject imaginable in a free flowing, free flowing space. So I don't know. I mean, I create rooms when I just want to, I don't know, just want to speak with other humans, frankly.
Yeah, you know what? We started doing a chill room at night, and we don't talk about business.
That's fun.
It's so much fun. We have such.
Okay, Joe, were you there, Jason? We talked about chicken and waffle. Jeff on the Entrepreneur shared about his date. It was so much fun. We were cracking up. And then someone tried to pitch about Bitcoin that ruined the night. I said, hey guys, I'm sorry, but this is chill night. Let's end this room. See you tomorrow. Bye. But we were laughing. We were talking about chicken and waffles to travel. So what are we going to do if we have so much money? Like, that was so much fun. Like, sometimes you need to have a chill night because we can't talk about business. At least me, my head's like overload for like nonstop hearing it over and over again. But like, it's really good, especially when you're ADD, man. I think you can answer so many questions now. You heard it over and over again.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. I think it's and some people were asking, well, if I'm only one person, how do I create a room? But I think if you create a room on any topic, you're going to find 1, 2, 3, 4 more people that will come in because they want to talk about it, and you can just have a conversation. I think a lot of people are worried that they don't have what are they going to do? Open a room by themselves, and they're going to sit there and talk to themselves. But the reality is somebody's going to come in 2 seconds. We say you can open a room on any topic. Somebody else out there wants to know about that topic or talk about it. So don't be afraid. Just do it.
Yeah. And I think when you create a room, you make sure you really set the tone, the culture of that room. And then everyone knows already what the rules are. I think that's the important key, because if you go to the other room, it's chaotic and everyone just talking on top of each other. You have to make sure you have processes and systems in place. It's like literally launching a new company. It's like running a whole team, a new product launching. You have the process. We have SOP in the back. We have scheduling, even though it's not perfect. And we were literally creating SOP as we're doing. So it wasn't perfect. We're testing so many different ways, but we made it to 20 days, way past our goal of 13 days.
I mean, it was a very definition of sort of building your parachute on the way down. It's like, or is that the expression? Or it reminds you of those. I can't remember. It's actually it's a Wallace and Gromit. I think it's the Wallace and Gromit film, and it's got this train, and it's putting down the dog is sitting in front of it's an animation, right? And this train is going, and it's laying down the train tracks in front of the train as they're going, because there wasn't train tracks in front of it. So I had to do it like as they were going. So that's kind of how it felt like. Oh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to? What are the rules? So who can let in and stuff like that? It was challenging. It was challenging.
That night that we did the farewell party, though, did you guys feel like we were like, the last episode of Cheers? Remember when they were kind of like all gathered together? I mean, I literally felt like that. I mean, it was like, because I have always sat every hour, like I logged 79.6 hours that second week. And this has been my office. Like I was dressed and, it was a business. And when we did the farewell party, I was like, I'm going to actually sit on the couch. So like I got the Chihuahua and I got the big blanket and I just kind of relaxed. And it was just like, but I was just like, it was so heart touching to hear all the stories. Cause like I did sleep at some point. So, William was holding down the fort when those stories were going on. And it was just like, it was so cool just to hear all the heart, touching moments that we did. And, but I just felt like, when I got done, I was like, gosh, that just felt like Cheers. It was just like we were long lost friends and we only knew each other for 20 days. It was just like, that was so quick.
Yeah, but I feel like we've known each other, like it is, right? We heard each other every single minute, like, and we chat each other so fast we can't even keep up. Who's chatting? The messages like get crooked. Like, what are you talking? It doesn't make sense. It's so fast.
But I still don't know. William, are you married? Do you have kids? It's like, I just know the real estate. I know you're real and that's it.
Jason is trying to talk, but he's been muted.
Speaking, I don't think.
Oh, I thought you were saying. I saw your mouth moving.
No. I was going to. No, I didn't say anything. But what I was going to say, I was on Clubhouse, like you were saying, 79 hours, right? In a 1 week, and I was something similar, right? And it killed my phone. I had to get a new battery in my iPhone today. It basically destroyed my battery because the phone didn't know whether it was charging or discharging. It was like on and off the charger nonstop. And I literally had to get a new battery today.
So look at this, guys. Mine is usually plugged in all the time. So there we go. This is.
I posted that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry,
William.
Julie.
Go ahead.
I was just saying that I missed the farewell party, as it were. Yeah, because I just passed out and I fell asleep. But I think that I don't think that's the closing of a chapter like Cheers, the ending of the series. I think it's just a turning of the page. So I think that, especially with Kate and Dan at the helm, it's definitely time to evolve. They've literally built up a roster of some of the most powerful now influencers on Clubhouse, easily top, 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, however the math on that works. Maybe we can have some ideas later on of basically how to evolve the platform that Kate and Dan had built, especially now that their club is approved. And just going back to why start your own room on Clubhouse, as Jason said, it's to get your message out there. If you are on LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or TikTok and you want to bring value to the world, or you want to advertise your dog or your baby or whatever it is, opening a room is the way to do it. And the best way to be successful on Clubhouse is to collaborate with as many people as possible. I think you can tell from just what we're saying that there's no way to sustain a room by yourself. There's no way to sustain a club by yourself. It's always collaboration. Collaboration is key. And I think with that mindset, we actually worked out like a lot of issues, especially low on sleep, like these little ticky-tack things popped up. There are definitely some people that I approached, from a bit too aggressive of a stance initially. And I'm grateful that they gave me the chance to work things out. And I was able to continue to learn from them and grow with them. And I think Clubhouse is a great reminder that if we set our differences aside and we come together with a culture of kindness, that we can really make impactful change. Kate and Dan, what they started with Jason, Jodine, and everyone else on those stages, we literally helped out thousands and thousands of people already. And this is in a month's time.
Yes.
So,
it's crazy how we build our following. I wasn't even there to build my following. I was just there to really learn how to build a funnel. That was the reason why I joined Clubhouse. I was so clear, like I just want to learn how to build a funnel. I know Jodine, I'm launching a mastermind. I don't know how to convert that crap, right? That's the reason why I joined the Clubhouse. I just want to learn, and all of a sudden it became a movement, and now like we were the authority of Clubhouse, and that's what it is. Like. So what do you think if we didn't do it as a team? Like, there's now going to be a better experience for entrepreneurship in Clubhouse because no one has started it. I don't know. It's probably going to change the landscape of that community.
Oh, I think it definitely did because, like I said, as I start going into more rooms, because that 20 days that I was on Clubhouse, that was the only room I was in. I didn't really realize that there was a life outside of what it takes to run $1 million business. And, as I get into more rooms, it's amazing of how everybody says, you guys are the masters. You guys are the ones that set the bar. And I think that that's something that we really need to take to heart and realize that, how many lives we affected. Like I always go back to, Brenda's story. She came up and she was kind of elusive in her question. And then I just said, what, you might ask why you're, asking that question, and she turned out to be a person that builds bots. And like her business literally has blown up. In fact, she's helping me build up my bots right now. And just seeing, like she said, she had 20 people on her Instagram and it's her kids and her dogs. And now she's got a full-fledged, she's already hired 2 people, just in that overnight, seeing that, to me, I just get chills and just get so excited, hearing those kinds of stories, because there's hundreds and thousands of them out there. And people are just coming in now, with the results, because, after a while, I got tired of listening to the same person coming up and asking different moderators the same question. And I'd be like, did you apply, ABC that they just told you 3 days ago? Well, no, excuse. I'm like, get off this app and go implement it. It's not going to do you any good to hear, again, the same blueprint. Go apply it. And one of the rooms that we have at 7 o'clock each night, people in my tribe, they have started an accountability. What did you learn on Clubhouse today, and are you going to implement? And so every night they've been coming in. Last night they were open for like 3 hours of people just coming in and having that accountability. So that's been really fun listening to them. You know, I mean, people are, and that's the thing. It's like you see a problem, solve it. And, you know, they realized that people weren't being accountable. And so they opened up that room. So, I mean, you can open up a room on anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about who is the coolest people in our room. Who made it in our room?
Oh, Kate, of course, the pivot queen. I mean, she was the coolest.
No, like who was like, I wasn't expecting to get to know. I feel like I know Grant Cardone now because he knows us, right? Like he just go there yakking. Today he was in there, he almost crushed his car because he's trying to answer a question. He brakes so hard, like there was like F word flying there, like dang, I missed my exit. Like he was just there and answering questions and missed the exit. So we got Grant Cardone. Who else did we miss?
We nearly killed Grant Cardone. I don't know. We had so many. I mean, it's almost unfair to sort of like single any one person out because it was always depending on what the question was. There would be a question, and it would always be a certain, you know, there'd be certain specific people who would be amazing at that specific topic. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint and, you know, to say. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean,
there's so many. You know, there's a lot of people that came in there that are not really. They don't necessarily have a personal brand where they're a celebrity, but the accomplishments they've had. So I always like to read people's bio, and then I see some people like, oh my gosh, like I love that company, and this is the founder of that company, right? It's just amazing. The people that are on this app, and a lot of them are just not well known. But the accomplishments they've had is just absolutely amazing. And I'm just blown away. Like, oh my gosh, like you are here. I think William had said that you're around some people. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like how am I on this stage? And I you know, put stage in quotes, like the Clubhouse stage, right? The room stage, whatever you want to call it, with these other people. It's just blown away. I'm just, my mind is blown. But yeah, I mean, I think I did like though, the fact that Damon John said that the room that we were all in, the room that we all created was his favorite room. And he said, tell all your friends. And I thought that was actually pretty cool. But there's so many amazing, like you said, Jason, I'm just blown away by the amazing people that you meet on this app. It's just, I can't believe it.
There's so many. I mean, they're crazy. If you put a price of the net worth of that room, I would say $1 trillion. Don't you guys agree?
Oh yeah, easily. And I think, you know, when I didn't realize who JT Fox was by any means, and he came up to speak onto the stage, and I was like, he sounds like he knows what he's doing. So like I send him the app or the Google Doc to verify his income, and I was just like, and somebody's like, you sent him one? And I'm like, I didn't know who he was. And I was just like, but like he said, he was so honored and dedicated to us because of the fact that we allowed him to come up and speak on stage. And, you know, I think that's, you know, sometimes ignorance is bliss because like you know, I know a lot of people, but I don't keep track of names and stuff. So like, I was just like, I just thought he was just, you know, somebody wanting to speak and he sounded educated. So I was like, hey, you should come up and speak, you know? So that was like, and he, you know, he PM me, he was like, I really honor you and thank you for, you know, allowing me to come up here. And I didn't think anything of it. But then as I told that story, everyone's like, oh my God, do you know who he is? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, he shared so much great stuff and a real straight talker as well.
Oh, you know? Yeah, I loved him. He was just like, you know, no nonsense. And which as entrepreneurs, and, you know, there was one time when, you know, well, Grant made the girl cry. I don't know if that was in our room, but yeah, it was when she cried and I had to pull her back up because somebody muted her or, you know, put her down to the audience. And it was just like, no, you know, and Grant was just being honest. You know, she had a concept that she wanted to go into life coaching but she wanted to make money. And he was just blatantly honest. That's a tough industry to go into. And, you know, sometimes we need to be told the tough things. And, you know, I think that it was with love and compassion, but, you know, she didn't have a clue of who she was. And a couple of people, you know, noted that they're like, she doesn't know who he is. But still, it's like, that's, you know, it's reality. Why sugarcoat it if you're going to put him through more pain and agony by lying to them, you know? And I think a lot of us entrepreneurs, once we've been through it, it's like, hell no, don't do that, because, you know, I did it, learn from my mistake. And that was the point of the whole thing of interviewing and asking them and coming up. You're coming up to be transparent and to get the right information, not sugarcoat it and go, well, yeah, maybe, you know, this would be a good thing. It's like, hell no, that wasn't a good idea. So, you know, but and that's the cool thing. But then let's look at A, B, or, you know, C, D, E, F, G. They had so many other ideas that they could help them. And so to me, that was the coolest part of it all.
Yeah, I think a lot of our speaker or our moderator, when they would DM, okay, when you hear DM in Clubhouse, that means DM on Instagram, right? I think what's inspiring about it is like they're really, truly willing to give back to the community, because as a thank you for making so much money, right? Like that is so refreshing to me. Like in that room, how many employee get like hired based on that people that really in that room? Can you imagine? Probably half of the US economy. Who knows?
Well, certainly a lot. But yeah,
a lot.
when they're laying, you know, when all of these guys are laying down roadmaps of how to scale a business, yeah, you're creating jobs, because, you know, so I want to, you know, in order to do this, I need to hire people, but I'm scared I'm not going to make the money. And then somebody like JT Fox or whoever will say, well, this is how you make money. Do this. Oh, amazing. I can make 100 grand doing that. And they'll go and hire however many people. So for sure.
Were you guys there Jason, were you there when Roland Fraser spent an hour of Q&A? And when he was in a mastermind, he's one of my mentor, right? He charged 50 grand for 3 hours, and he was there for 1 hour doing Q&A for us for free.
No, I missed it. I wasn't in on that when that happened.
Were you there, Tom, when he was there? Or Jodine, were you there? That was an amazing, wasn't that was the cool, like really like solid Q&A. He was like spitting bombs. Like I mean, he's one of the smartest guy in my world. I think he is. He's a billionaire. He just turned down companies, maybe 25 every 5 years, right? He's a business partner of Perry, which Perry is another big one that just owns traffic and conversion, the marketers, right? But I think what's refreshing is the bigger the person is, I feel like they have more humility. That's what I've noticed. Do you guys say the same thing?
Oh yeah. I think the big thing is and you know, I mean, there's some incidents on Clubhouse that people have become very humbled with. And so it's like, you know, it's definitely been interesting to watch the growth that in that short 20 days, what everybody had as well. You know what I mean? It's like it intensified. You know what? Here's what I said. My perspective. The first week, everybody had their poker face on. It was all loving and compassionate. The second week, that started to kind of show true characters. But by the third week, you knew the moral and integrity of each of those people that were on that stage. And I thought that was interesting to watch that, you know, that progression of how it worked out. But overall, everybody that we had in our room, you know, was morally and ethically in alignment of like-mindedness. And, you know, we just had that standard. We had that synergy that we attracted that to. So I think that was the cool thing about it too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Any thoughts on that?
I think this is for people that don't want to, some people might not want to just add value, or maybe some people don't want to spend a lot of time and they don't necessarily want to help a lot of people. It doesn't mean they have a bad agenda, right? I mean, if somebody just wants to go on there and make money, that's what they want. But I think if you do want to make money and this is your business, I think this is going to be the most powerful social media platforms. And at the same time, if you do want to help a lot of people and you just want to provide value like most of us have done, it is one of the most powerful social media platforms. So I think no matter what you're there for, I think, just my opinion, if you're not on this app, get on this app, because this is going to change a lot of people's lives. I mean, it's going to change how people do business. People are doing partnerships on there. People are buying businesses on there. People are investing on there in only a very short period of time. And that whole, like, this the audio connection, you really do feel like you know these people. And I'm not saying it's a good thing to just invest in somebody you don't even know, but I truly am seeing that people are doing a lot of amazing things. So if you are, because we have a large LinkedIn audience on here, and a lot of them have been asking about how do you actually make money on this app? I think if you do go on and you do provide value, you will become an authority in your space, and automatically people will come to you. You don't need to do outbound, right? This is like building your authority in the beginning. People are going to contact you, add value, do whatever you can for them, and in return, you will be rewarded.
Yeah, no, I think what I love about Clubhouse is you can spot like if someone is not being real, because you can't. There's the voice, the tone of voice. You can only do so much of faking things, right? Like I think what I love about it, people that have a lot to offer. This is the app. It's a great app for people to shine. I mean, I think that's really a cool thing about Clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, especially if people are asking like, how do you make money? I mean, you speak with any business coach, anybody business advisor of any description, and the number one principle that you hear time and time again is, well, you need to build up the know, like, and trust factor, right? If somebody knows, likes, and trusts you, they'll buy from you. Okay, well, how do I get them to know, like, and trust me? Well, you've got to put yourself in an environment where you're interacting with them, and with your prospects, and so that you get to talk to them, they get to talk to you, they get to hear you, they get to see what your vibe is, and that's it. That's that big, massive piece done, right? That's the biggest piece. It almost doesn't matter how good your product is after that, right? You can have a really mediocre product, but you can be really, really trustworthy and really come from a good place, and people will still buy your product or your service, right? I mean, you should have obviously a fantastic service. You want to have a rock star killer service, but you can have an amazing service, but if nobody knows about it, no one's going to buy it, right? So the way to get to people need to get to know you, your service. You need to put yourself in front of people. That's marketing, and that's what a platform like Clubhouse does, right? In fact, Clubhouse is really similar to what we're doing exactly right now, just without the video.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's a Zoom without a video.
Yeah. That's all it
There's
is.
less buttons though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so closing. What's your favorite quote from our room?
Favorite what?
Favorite quote that someone said.
Oh,
I think for me, what stuck me is like content for free, implementation for a fee. That's John Lee.
John Lee was. I have so many John Lee isms and quotes for days. John Lee.
Awesome.
We should make a library of these quotes.
I know, but I love Perry's though. The one that you don't step into someone else's toe because you might have to kiss someone else connected to someone's behind or something like that.
Yeah, I know the one.
Hey, William.
Yes,
repeat after me.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is William.
My name is William.
And I'm addicted to Clubhouse.
And I'm addicted to Clubhouse.
Great at that thing. That's like
So funny.
you should make a T-shirt and sell it as a.
I got stickers on the way, man. I've got it.
You should make a T-shirt. I'll wear that T-shirt.
All right, we're getting the
T-shirt to Clubhouse.
I was going to say, I don't know. I'm not going to say the quote exactly correctly, but one of the favorite things I heard on Clubhouse was from David Kavanaugh when he said, like, don't be professional note takers, right? You need to be professional action takers.
Action takers.
Right? So and I know you guys are asking us questions and you're writing notes, but your notes, you need to translate your notes into bank notes, right? And so, it's, that was pretty, profound.
After you had that conversation, that's when I started saying, all right, everybody look at your notes, highlight 3 things and circle the one that you're going to implement. So I really took that to heart after he spoke that, because it's true. It's like, You know, like look at Kate's notes. How many notes you got, Kate? How many have you taken action on?
I run out of notes. Yes.
She's too worried about what rooms she's getting kicked out of.
I think for me, I think the big lesson for me is I really need to be consistent with my content, like putting yourself out there, something that I don't really do. But I think it forces me to like really do it. I think that's a big takeaway from me. Like, I mean, now I want to implement it, doing live every day in my companies, the brands that I own, like telling my story. I've done it, but not consistent. So I think that's consistency is the key. And now I'm going to force myself to do that.
I think the hard part for me is my story's changed since Clubhouse. So it's like getting that down. It's like, wait a minute, I have a different story now.
Yeah,
but I got to jump off, guys.
I get invited to talks about Clubhouse. Like now, like I think it's going to happen to all of us. People are just going to ask you to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And as you guys know, I was a keynote speaker at an online business coaching conference the last 2 days. And I was trying to think, what am I going to talk about? I didn't know. And I had to put the presentation together. And I thought, I'm just going to do it on Clubhouse and our room. And I spoke all about our room and what we did and how we did it. Yeah.
I was going to ask you how that went. Congrats.
Went awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did talk. It's crazy. I talk about it to my group, and I get invited on Tuesday for a smaller group, and I have Rachel Miller, who's like the Facebook. She wanted me to talk about how we did it because she want to put a funnel for Clubhouse, how to make money XYZ, right? But like, you just never know. I mean, I think my life was way different before Clubhouse. That's for
all of our lives changed from Clubhouse.
Like, literally. I think I'm probably gonna have the T-shirt of like Clubhouse made me do it or something like that.
Well, I hate to cut the party short, guys. You guys have been amazing. I love all of your energy. And I just want to say I am completely and totally honored. And everything happens for a reason. And Kate, I'm so glad that you jumped into my room and said, hey, I need help. And, you know, it just worked out for all of us. So it was a great team. William, will you answer the question? Are you married and do you have kids? Because I still don't know the answer to that one yet.
It's in my profile. Yeah, I'm married. I got a super cute 18-month-old girl. Which is why the messages of.
Yeah, I remember the baby is crying. Like
every time I looked, William was on the success leaves clues. Yeah, that was another saying that we said a lot. I said a lot of that one all the time when I reset the room. So, but all right, William, will you hug that little one for me, because now I feel better, because I was like, what the hell? All I know is like his line of like his real estate thing. And I'm like, I know nothing about this guy other than he's on Clubhouse 24/7 and he must not have a kid. He must not be married, because like I never see him. Like I just see him. Like there's nobody else in the picture. So because I always thought it was your voice or heard your voice. So I'm glad now. I know.
Well, I think what I'm grateful for is we've helped a lot of people and we've built a lot of people's following as well. So I have to say thank you. You know, I think Jason, William, and Jodine, like you guys were the people that really thanked me, and I didn't even know that I did it, but like I know it was a team effort, but I really appreciate that thank you, even though I wasn't expecting a thank you, but that really is so kind of you guys, and I appreciate that for being really genuine and being loyal. I mean, I'm truly I think we're gonna be friends for life now. You guys are stuck.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say you guys are stuck with me now. That's all I got to say.
Totally awesome. That was amazing. Thank you so much for.
I know. Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys. We're gonna do that story number 2 next time. Bye, everyone.
Real quick before we go. So, I mean, we know so many people that are amazing in our network. Maybe the next evolution is Kate just having almost like a podcast, like a weekly show or like a weekly panel. We can highlight all the speakers that have come through. I mean, we've had dozens and dozens of amazing people, and a lot of them have gone off to do their own things. But I think sometimes, especially some people, they may just want some time to really express themselves fully, because especially the people that really shy or considerate, they may not say anything and just give time to others. So especially with your LinkedIn network, you have so many people that are there. With your Facebook communities, you have so many people, so many amazing people. And let's just figure out how to highlight as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We'll do it on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And visit katehancock.com so you don't miss out on the next episode.